This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Local threats to climate change funding for Jamaica cited. There is an emerging concern that persistent reports of building breaches could affect Jamaica's ability to receive funding from international donors for climate change projects. This comes in the wake of a Supreme Court judgment on Monday, which stated that local authorities failed in their mandate to enforce the planning laws and the regulations and to promote sustainable development in relation to construction of a multifamily structure on Roseberry Drive in Arcadia, St. Andrew. The judgment also noted that the developers did not provide proof of authorization to have sewage from the complex diverted to the National Water Commission's system. Professor in urban planning at the University of Technology, Carol Archer, believes that the absence of a proper sewage system can contaminate groundwater and have other serious implications for communities.
Because coming out of COP26, for example, we would have signed and agreed to certain international conventions as to how we design and manage towns and cities. If it can be shown internationally that we are in breach, it compromises our position to get funds associated with climate change.
Low COVID-19 vaccination rate a grave concern, said Tufton. Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton has expressed a concern about Jamaica's low vaccination rate amid the detection of the Omicron variant in a traveler from the island. The Ministry of Health and Wellness announced on Wednesday that a case has been detected in the UK after the traveler returned from a trip to Jamaica. Dr. Tufton, commenting on the matter, bemoaned the fact that only 20.4% of the population is fully vaccinated. He disclosed at a press conference that a total of 1.194 million doses of vaccines had already been administered, which translates in 557,000 people being fully vaccinated. He added that 25.9% of the population had been given at least one dose of vaccine.
We have given 1.194 million vaccine doses, 557,000 persons fully vaccinated, representing 20.4% of the population. 25.9, just under 26% of persons have had at least one dose.
PSOJ Group demands action on Road Traffic Act. Amid a rise in traffic fatalities, the private sector organization of Jamaica's Public Safety Monitoring Committee is calling on the government to respond swiftly by fully enacting the revised Road Traffic Act. This renewed call follows a report by the Ministry of National Security for the period ending September 2021, which revealed an upward trajectory in the number of road traffic collisions and fatalities. Based on the report, there was an 8% increase in road fatalities, with 356 recorded when compared to the corresponding period in 2020, which recorded 331 fatalities. The PSOJ firmly believes the Road Traffic Act is a key legislative component in achieving the overall objective of public safety and order. The PSOJ is continuing its call on the Ministry of Transport and Mining for the formal inclusion of the Road Traffic Act as a monitored process within the MOU, even as we note the failure to meet the targets to reduce road fatalities this year. According to the PSOJ committee, the various targets by the National Road Safety Council, chaired by Prime Minister Andrew Holness, has been frustrated by the failure to conclude the regulations and have them passed in the House of Parliament. We have seen that the government of Jamaica is capable of prioritizing items on the legislative agenda with urgency, and we believe that the government of Jamaica is duty-bound to take decisive action to curb the lawlessness displayed on our roads, the committee stressed. The committee said it also looks forward to the official launch of the Traffic Ticket Management System's online portal, since it is important to the overhaul of the clampdown on road traffic offenders. Further, the committee said the completion of this target area will enable traffic offenders to check critical items, including their traffic ticket status, history, and demerit points. As we come to the close of the year and the accompanying festive season, we remind all stakeholders of the need for a structured and unified approach in accomplishing our ultimate target of public safety and order, the PSOJ committee said, adding that it continues to monitor the targets established by the Traffic Ticket Management System, National Surveillance Program, Jamaica Eye, Noise Abatement Regulation, and Road Safety. 80% of state workers on board with wage hike. Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark says the government is moving full speed ahead with the implementation of the public sector compensation review, despite not achieving full buy-in from union heads of its 4% wage increase offer. We have made a commitment to begin implementation in April, and we will not make anything stop us from doing that, Clark commented on Wednesday. He was speaking at the signing ceremony for the contract period 2021-2022 between the government and the trade unions. The most recent signing means that 31 bargaining units have agreed to the 4% increase. Clark boasted of the pace of signings, suggesting that at no time in the recent past had the ministry managed to seal agreements with that many groups by a December timeline. The last time it took us about 2 years to get to 31, he said. Collectively, they represent approximately 80,000 workers, according to Clark. Among the latest group are the Jamaica Medical Doctors Association and the Nurses Association of Jamaica. The Jamaica Public Federation, which is currently locked in a court battle with the government over sums it said are owed to rank-and-file members of the force from as far back as 2015, has not accepted the offer. However, Clark said too many people have invested in the process for it to be derailed by a few. He said so far 80% of public sector workers have accepted the offer. That number is expected to increase shortly, he added. So we are good to go for the implementation review. What we need to do now is to engage with the unions, he said. In the meantime, head of the NAJ, Patsy Edwards-Henry, said the group is not satisfied with the offer, but noted that anticipation is high for a more substantial increase in the next financial year. Edwards-Henry said the group has stood up to the pressures of the coronavirus pandemic in light of a buckling health sector and deserves a corresponding compensation. We're not 100% happy with what is happening with what we're signing for, but we are looking beyond. We are looking for better days. We're looking and hoping that as we sign today, it will sign the beginning of a new year for negotiation, she said, noting that the NAJ is looking forward to what the compensation review will bring. Head of the Jamaica Midwives Association, Bobby Jo Campbell, too, said the offer was not ideal. She called for greater recognition of the group. The profession of midwifery to me seems like an afterthought. We are just as much as involved as other persons in the health care group, said Campbell. Without us, our country is going to be in a very sad position. A dark state, I would want to call it, she said. JMDA President Dr. Mindy Fitzhenley said the lobby was grateful for the increase and is looking forward to the next round of negotiations. Siblings lose bid to take charge of dad's money. 3 siblings who filed a claim against their father under the Mental Health Act to get a court order to manage his financial affairs were forced to back down after a medical report showed that their dad was capable of managing his money. The siblings, following a medical report, filed a notice of discontinuance, but their father sought to have that motion set aside, claiming that it was an abuse of the process by his children, who he claimed had not complied with a court order to disclose to him all the joint accounts he had with them and their transaction. The court ruled against him and discontinued the case. The trio, Heather Lewis, Marcia Lewis, and Gear Lewis, who collectively filed the claim in 2016, wanted the court to appoint them to act as a committee to handle the affairs of their father, Melford Lewis. They had also filed 2 amended fixed-date claims forms seeking to have the court appoint them as guardians and to have their father's current wife, Elaine, added to the claim and an order declaring that their marriage was null and void. The amendments were filed after their father had challenged the claim, outlining, among other things in his affidavit, that he was not married and that his children, therefore, were not the proper persons to make such an application. However, Justice Stephen Jackson Hazley in October 2019 ordered that Melford be examined by an independent doctor. Consequently, Dr. Agray Irons in his report, submitted a month later, said Mr. Lewis continues to be an elderly man who shows no evidence of severe psychiatric disorder, adding that the family patriarch could handle his own affairs with the appropriate cooperation of all his family members. During that time, Melford also filed a notice for application seeking information on all the joint accounts that he maintained with his 3 children. He alleged in the accompanying affidavit that his children had abused the power of attorney that he had entrusted them with. Melford also filed 2 separate applications to strike out the claim, but Justice Yvonne Brown, following the medical report, made an interim order for Melford to have conduct and control over all his affairs, including his financial assets, until the determination of the amended fixed date claim form filed, and for his children to submit an affidavit listing all his assets under their control. A hearing date for the amended claim form was set for March 24 to 25, 2020. The children, however, filed a motion in December 2019 to discontinue all the claims. Their father, in response, filed a notice of application to set aside the notice for discontinuance. Melford also sought an order from the court to preserve the 2020 dates for the hearing. Attorneys at law Hugh Small QC and Chadwick Goldsmith represented Melford, and attorneys at law Gordon Stair and Judith Cooper argued on the children's behalf. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.